What was the question? Is it possible to extend assignment 1 to this coming Sunday at least? When is your due date? Friday, 10th November, right? Okay, I'll extend it until Sunday, but that is the last date, No more extension. Okay, so today's first question, simplify the block diagram given. So from here, you can tell that we have different blocks in series and also in what we call that in parallel, and also we have a feedback loop in this diagram. So if you notice, we have two feedback loop here. One is the H1 loop, and second one is this loop. Okay, but it is not mentioned here. It is not labeled here. And another one is outside the positive feedback. So it is at the, like the other side of the common feedback loop that we always draw. Okay, so how to simplify this diagram? So we have this diagram. Okay, how to simplify this? First, we start with the summing point at here. Okay, summing point. All right. So by moving this summing point of the negative feedback. Oh, sorry, we are talking about this lah actually. So first we move this summing point. Okay, it's a negative feedback loop. This loop is, we call that negative feedback loop. This is the feedback loop, the common one. So we move this so that the loop containing H2 outside the positive feedback loop containing H1. So how to move that? All right. So we're going to have R here. Right. So we have R. All right. R, and then we have two general summing point here with positive and negative, and then another summing point, positive and positive, right? So now what we're going to do, instead of leaving this summing point, we're going to gather everything. So instead of having it in between the blocks, we're going to move it to this position. So when I move this to this position, what will happen? Okay, that summing point will now shift to here. All right, and then follow with the earlier summing point, this one, right? So it will be plus and plus. Everything else will remain same. G1, then we have G2, and then G3, and the output. All right. So the H1, okay. So the feedback loop, the common feedback loop will remain as it is. Right. So if you notice, it is coming from G2, between G2 and G3, and then earlier it's going to plus summing point, correct? Now we have shifted the plus minus H2 position or plus minus summing point of H2 to in front ready. So when we are moving one block in front, now the term will become H2 over the G1, okay? Because we are moving in front of G1, okay? So with that, everything else remains same. This is our first step. Now, secondly, we want to eliminate the positive feedback loop. Okay, that means the one we have at this position, the H position. So this one we're going to, how we're going to remove that? Since it is parallel between G1 and G2, right? Okay, G1 and G2. So we're going to have, so we're going to include everything at this position, all right? So we're going to have G1 of a combination of G1 and G2 in series will be G1, G2 over 1 minus the GH. The G here is G1, G2, and the H here in this case is the S1. All right. So this will be the summary of that feedback loop, the positive feedback loop. Now, from the positive feedback loop, from here, we want to combine all. If you notice now, this and the G3 is in series form. All right. And then we have another block here, H2 and G1. Now, how to combine all this? So we're going to eliminate the H2 G1 loop here. When we eliminate the H2 G1 loop, it's going to be R plus minus, okay? So here it's going to be, all right. So here it's going to be, now in this case, we have this G and this G, which is G3, right? So the G1, G2, G3 will be the summary of these two blocks, and it will be 1 minus G1, G2, H1, all right, plus with this, all right? So that will make it G2, G3, H2. Now we have incorporated the H2, G1 into this, so we're going to eliminate the negative feedback loop, right? So that will give the C and the feedback loop, right? And finally, we also going to omit this feedback loop, this position. All right, we're going to eliminate this. How to do that? Okay, elimination of the feedback loop will result as R plus minus. So without by eliminating the feedback loop, I'm going to eliminate the summing point as well. Okay, so summing point also will be eliminated. That's going to leave my current G1, G2, G3 over 1 minus G1, G2, H1 plus G2, G3, G2, G3, H2, all right, plus, since I have omitted the summing point, so that will make it by combining the feedback loop as G1, sorry, G1, G2, G3. So this will be one how to say, one summarized block. So this will be the simplified version of the block diagram shown in the diagram, in the question, in the earlier question. All right. Now, second question, also asking us to simplify, but here they ask us to reduce the block diagram, which we have to combine all by series, parallel, summing point, left to right, right to left, everything we have to make here. So our current block diagram, overall block diagram is given as too small. Is given as this. Okay. So from here, if you notice, we have a feedback loop at this position, and this is negative feedback, and then we have another minor feedback. All right, and we have 3 summing points, and everything else is in series. These two are in series without summing point, and this H1 is in parallel with that G3 and G4. So how to reduce the block, this shown block diagram? So here first we have to eliminate the loop between the G3, G4 and the H1, this position. Okay, how we're going to do that? We move the, we need to combine G3, G4 and H1. So for that, we need to move the H2 behind the G4 so that it doesn't interfere. All right. So how it will be? R plus minus G1 to another summing point plus minus here G2 and then one summing point plus. Now, where to put this positive and negative sign at the summing point, it depends on at which the input area is coming in, input line is coming in. Okay, so here positive, so it is at the bottom. All right, and then we have G3 here, and then G4. Now our aim is to move this line to this point. Okay, so what we're going to do, we will have Y here. All right, so how to move from here, shifting to behind the G4. So that will make this, when I'm shifting to the right of the block, the negative feedbacks block will be H2 over G4. So this is the rule of thumb, and going into this, okay, and everything else, everything else is drawn as similar to the previous one, including the feedback loop block H1 to here, and then the same H1 to H3 to first summing point. Okay, so this is our current block diagram. So here, if we notice, we have the G3, G4, this position. The G3, G4, and H1 can be combined by eliminating that, how to say, the H1 loop. Okay, so we're going to have R plus minus, summing point plus minus, we have G1. Make sure you put the arrow. I missed to label here. So all the arrows are important. So that we know in which direction it is flowing. All right. So here we have another feedback loop plus minus, and then here the G2. All right, so now I'm going to sum the entire thing. How I'm going to sum? It's going to be G3, G4 because this is in series. All right, and then with the feedback loop, I'm going to include 1 minus GH. So the G in this case is G3, G4 and H. So this is my new diagram. Output is Y. Now the H2 G4 loop will remain same. All right. And the main feedback loop will remain there also because we are not doing any modification right now. Okay. So now this is our latest diagram, block diagram. So from here we want to, if you notice, we have another negative, how to say, not another, we have one negative feedback loop, H2G4, right? This one, okay? So we're going to eliminate that. We call that inner loop, lah. Okay? We're going to eliminate that. How? Plus minus R G1. Now, I'm going to eliminate the H2 over G4 by combining with the G2 and G3, G4 sessions. So here, this is in series. So I'm going to put G2, G3, G4 over 1 minus the H here is G2, G3. But we have H2 and H2 over G4. So that will make G2, G4, H plus G3, G4, H1 from this plus the current one G2, G3, G4. So this is the new GH1, G over 1 minus GH term, right? We still have the Y output, and then H3 loop is still exists. So it's coming from here to the summing point. Okay, so from here, the standard form is without any feedback loop system. So again, we're going to eliminate the H3 in this case. So it's going to have, I'm also going to remove the summing point. So R, this G1 and the bigger block of this graph of this diagram also will be combined. So it will be G1, G2, G3, G4 over 1 minus G3, the earlier one, G3, G4, H1 plus G2, G3, G4. The new GH will be, it's a positive sign for input, but here it is a negative sign. So it's 1 minus negative, right? So 1 minus negative. GH is the current GH is G1, G2, G3, G4, H3. All right. So this is my new block diagram. Now, if you notice at this position, negative, negative will become positive. So what I'll do, I'll straight away put plus. Okay. Here also, that is the reason we are having positive because 1 minus whatever the term that we had previously we remain minus the GH. So the G here is G2, G3, G4, and then H here, we didn't combine any H right now, so we put just H. But in this case, we are how to say, simplifying this feedback loop. So that is the reason we have G3 incorporation into the block diagram. Okay, so this is question number 2, sorry. Question number 3, reduce the system to a single transfer function. I think this one actually, if you try, you can do, but you have to do one by one. Okay, so we have give me a second. Right. So for this diagram, if you notice, we have one loop here, another minor loop, and then separate loop, minor loop, and this is different loop. We notice this side, it is coming from left to right. Earlier it was right to left. All right. Okay, so from here, what we do first, we have to how to say, we have to pass this pick-off point to create a parallel subsystem. Okay, so for that we need to move the G2 to the left. All right. Okay, so we need to move the G2 to the left, meaning this entire arrow will be shifted to right. Okay, when you are moving the block to the left, the loop will move to the right. So what will happen? Okay, so by moving that, we will be having our summing point plus minus, and then we have a G1 block here, and we have the summing point plus minus. All right, and then another one. Of course, you need to label all these, so make sure you label all this in the line as you are reducing the diagram. Okay, the final diagram no need, but step by step when you're reducing, of course, you will have to reduce that. Now G2 is moved here. So now the feedback loop will, the top feedback loop will be in this form. We have another summing point plus minus, but here the feedback loop is moved to from here to here. Okay, everything else remains. Here, if you notice, this is a parallel system. So we're going to summarize that G3 over 1 plus GH. H here is H3. All right. So C. We have done with the straight loop. Now go to the feedback loop at the bottom of the system. Okay, if you notice, we have 1 H2 going to remain. We do one by one, okay, so that we don't miss anything. We have this and we have another one, H1, going to this summing point. All right. So now this will be our current block diagram. Okay. Now, second step, we need to reduce the parallel pair. Okay. All right. Another thing that we missed out here, if you notice, we have shifted this loop from here to here, right? So with that, we're going to have one diagram here, going to mention 1 over G2, because going in front of the diagram, in front of the block, or we can say the block is moved to the back or shift to the left. All right. So what we're going to do now, we're going to simplify this. Okay, simplify this, and then we're going to keep the G1 pass the how to say, going to bring the G1 back and this loop behind. Okay, so when I bring this, I'm going to change this block, and when I bring this, G1 and G2 will be in series, so I need to change this set as well. So with this current diagram, I have R, I have summing point, all right, plus minus G1. So now G1 moved to the right, so the summing point will, the second summing point will come here, all right? So G1 moved to this side. Now G1 and G2 can be combined. G1, G2, and right? Okay. Leaving that, now I want to, when I'm moving this summing point to the left, now my arrow also moving to this position, correct? So when I move that, now my current feedback loop block will become H2 G1, because I'm changing with respect to G1, right? So this will be my current G1, G2, all right? So already summarized up to G2. Now I'm going to have addition, how to say, simplify this feedback and this diagram and this block diagram. So how to simplify that? I need to have, it's consider almost like a parallel combination. So it's going to be 1 over G2 plus 1. Okay, and then I'm going to remain this G3 1 plus G3 H3. Why this one become 1? Because it's, if you look at this loop properly, it is like a input to the summing point, right? At that point, so we make it as 1 over G2 plus unity. Okay, so unity is the one here, right? So we have another output in this case. Now, if you notice the H1, H2, H2 is combined with G1 ready. Now we need to focus on the H1. So H1 will be remain for now. H1. All right. So this is our latest diagram, block diagram, right? So from here we need to omit all the summing point. Okay, we're going to omit all the summing points, so that will make R plus minus. I can just simply put as plus minus, all right? And then I have G1, G2, 1 over G2 plus 1. And this is in series, so I can combine this as G3, 1 plus G3, H3. And an output of C. All right. Now, the second thing I want to, combine the two series, two parallel feedback loop. Okay, so for me to do that, I need to draw or combine this as H2 over G1. It's a parallel, right? So plus H1. So this will be the new position to the summing point, right? So our latest diagram will be this. As I mentioned, of course, you need to label all the stream. All right. So now we will omit this portion with the standard linear, linear feedback system, control system. All right. So for this, we're going to have R. Okay. Omitting the summing point, so I will go straight to G1, G2. Okay. If we notice here, this is series, the G1, G2, and this position is series. And then we have the feedback loop H2 over G1. So use the feedback loop, formula to get to this. So I can put this as G1, G2, my current G, all right, with 1 minus, okay, minus. But if you notice, the input to the summing point is also in minus. So that will make this as plus, okay, plus G2, H2 plus G1, G2, and my current H is the H1. This area is actually some summary of what we will get when we combine the block diagram in terms of G over 1 minus GH. When we summarize this, we will get to this. All right. So next we remained this one. So 1 over G2 plus 1, G3, 1 plus G3, H3. So this will be another loop. We notice we have eliminated all the feedback loop. Okay, now we only have 2 blocks here. This is not the final version yet. Since these 2 are in series, we're going to multiply these 2 blocks. So with that, we will be getting R. Okay, and we have 2, so I'm just going to multiply this series in 1 plus G2, H2 plus G1, G2, H1. And then 1 over G2 plus 1, G3 over 1 plus G3, H3. This is the new block diagram. Output output C. Output C. This entire expression actually can be simplified some more. So the simplification will be R G1, G3, one plus G2. You try and see, definitely you will get to this. So it's 1 plus G2, H2 plus G1, G2, H1. This is one term. Another one, 1 plus G3, H3. This is another term. So this is another simplified version of block. You want to leave as it is at this diagram also acceptable, or you want to expand and leave at this point also acceptable. Okay. Right. So next is also reduce the block diagram. I think this one you can try and see how to get to this. I'll skip this. Okay. We go to a problem solving situation. So this one you can try. All right. Now, fifth question. Find the closed loop transfer function. So it has to be in terms of the y here and the YSP, the set point. Notice that this block diagram has two feedback loops and two disturbance. So we have feedback loop, the GM2 and then GM1 is one thing. And the disturbance they mentioned here is the D1 and D2. So we have to get the closed loop transfer functions in terms of Y over YSP. How to solve this? So this is the block diagram that is provided. Okay, as mentioned earlier, we have one feedback loop, two feedback loop, and two disturbance. All right. First, our aim is to reduce. We always want to eliminate or reduce or summarize or simplify, what do you call that, all the inner loops. Doesn't matter it's a forward or backward negative feedback, negative loop, right? So we're going to omit all the inner loop into a single diagram. Okay, so what we're going to do now, if you notice here, we have GC1, G1, GC2, G2, G3. Okay, so this will be my Y. SP, KM1. We start from here. All right, we have one summing point. Okay, and we have GC1. All right, we have another summing point. So what we'll do, we will how to say, simplify this inner loop first. Okay, for us to simplify this inner loop, these two are in series. GC2 and G1 is in series, so I'm going to put GC2 G1. Okay, solve ready. This is our current G. My H, my loop here is the GM2. So it's going to be 1 minus, but here negative. So it's going to be positive. And my current G is the GC2 G1. and H in this case is the GM2. So this is my new transfer function. All right. So simplifiedly, we have another summing point plus plus. We have disturbance D1 and then G2, another disturbance plus plus G2, and we have G3 and Y. The last final or the main feedback loop will remain as it is. Okay, so at this point, this is our new feedback loop. All right, a new block diagram for the control system. Now, for us to solve servo problem, what is the meaning of servo problem? Anyone can answer that? Servo problem means what? We have set point change, correct? We have set point change. Okay. To solve, we have disturbance change. Okay. So for us to solve that, we always equal the disturbance as in servo problem. We equal the disturbance as 0. So here the D1 and D2 will become 0. So when D1, D2 becomes 0, my new diagram will be Y SP. I'll have K M1. Okay. I'm going to have, okay, so I'm going to solve the entire diagram here by GC1, okay, this term times with the second diagram, second block, GC2 G1 over 1 plus GC2 G1 GM2. Okay, and this is my current G. And this one, I want to omit the feedback loop. So I'm going to put the 1 minus, but here minus for me to eliminate. So I make it as plus. And then my current GH is all this. So GC1, GC2, G1 over 1 plus GC2, G1, GC2, G1, GM2. All right. So the entire thing is the new block summarized with the or reduce the feedback loop ready. Now, since since the disturbance is equals to 0, made it equals to 0 because we assume or we want to solve the servo problem, right? So that is the case, we will be excluding our GD and G3, which included the disturbance introduction. So since there's no disturbance, there's no necessity to have the transfer function for G2 and G3. So this will be my Y. So this is my current diagram. Go back to the question. They asked us to calculate the closed loop transfer function Y over YSP. So we have to express that in terms of output over input, right? So we can express this as Y output over input is the YSP equals to, now this and this in series. So I can summarize this TC1, TC1, and then GC2, G1 over 1 plus GC2, G1, GM2. All right? Over 1 plus, okay, 1 plus, the current one is GC1, GC2, G1, right? So that will become GC1, GC2, G1 over 1 plus GC2, G1, GM2, okay? And my current G is all these things, the GC1, GC2, G1, okay? So I'm going to get GC1, G2, G3, GM1, GC2, G1, okay? This is actually over the GCM. So by that, I can actually eliminate the denominator, right? So the denominator will disappear. Okay, this is the expression for y over YSP, set point, input over the output. Okay. Okay. Next question. Consider the liquid level P control system with the following parameter values. Area is given. Oops. Something's wrong. Okay. We have area 3 feet, R equals to 1.0, and KIP is 1 kV. That means we have integrated proportional control system, kV, valve, transmitter km, and controller kc. The block diagram for the level control system is shown below. We have input of Q1, okay? So Q1 is the input and we will be having output Q3. So what we'll do, the transmitter, the level transmitter basically will get the signal, read the value, whether it is as per the set point. So the controller will receive the signal from the transmitter. So from the transmitter, electrical signal will be passed to the IP transducer, and the electrical signal will be converted to in terms of pressure readings. Okay, with that, the control valve will play around or see how to control or manage the level of the liquid inside the tank. So with that, this will be adjusted. So here there will be a distance introduced to Q1. So here the disturbance will be Q1. Okay, it is already derived, or how to say, summarized in this diagram. in this block diagram. So this is our diagram. All right. All right. So if you notice, again, we have a transmitter. So on all the loop block diagram will start with the transmitter, controller, inducer, valve, and then the disturbance in Q1. And we have a feedback control in which signal sent to the transmitter. All right. So the question. Okay. So here the information given in the question, we have P control system. Area is given as 3 feet square. Okay. R given as 1.0 minute per feet square. KIP 1 PSI or milliampere. KV gain of the valve 0.2 CFM or PSI, and then Km equals to 1.7 milliampere over feet, and the controller gain will be 4. All right. So we need to derive the process and disturbance transfer function as GP and GD respectively. So process, GP for process and GD for disturbance. So how to derive this expression from here? If you notice, if you remember, the general form of deriving disturbance in terms of level indicator or level monitoring system, it will be expressed in terms of the area and then dH over dt. This is the level over the time equated to Q1. Q1 here is the input. Okay, input plus first input plus the second input will give the difference between the total input and the output will become the level adjuster in the system. So meaning sum of the input G1 plus Q1 plus Q2 minus Q3. All right. So Q3 is basically head flow reaction. So H over R. This one we have seen in the lecture session. So we can replace that here. Q1 plus Q2 minus H over R. Right. So now all these are in terms of time, right? So we're going to express that before expressing into the transfer function. Right. So this can be expressed in terms of A H S transfer function. So equals to, this is consider the FT. Okay. When transformed to the Laplace transform, it will become as F S. So that is the reason the S here. So here we are talking about level. So H S. Okay. Equals to Q1 S plus Q2 S minus H S over R. Now, when I transform this, okay, of course, I'll be having the area times the Laplace form, but but I also will be having how to say, having the what we call that, I forgot the name. Okay, we call this as, oops, we call this as H level, and also the of the indicator. All right, so this will become 0 because we are transforming as it approaches equals to 0. All right, so with that we will be having the term by transferring the R to one side and then the S to one side. We will be getting 1 over R plus AS. H will be grouped at one side. So H S equals to Q1S plus Q2S. Okay, this is expressed in terms of level indicator, and this is in terms of the flow rate. All right. So now this can be simplified as RAS. The main function is already provided in the lecture session, but you still need to know how to get to this term here. Okay, equals to, all these are signs. I forgot to put. But because we are transforming from time domain to Laplace form. So we'll be getting as Q1 S plus Q2 S. Okay, so we can rearrange this equation. Oops, in terms of H, S, and Q1 S. Okay, this will become as R over R A S plus 1 or ARS plus 1. Okay, so H over Q1 S is the process transfer function, tau S. So if you notice, the tau is not provided as, so we express as this. So here, if you compare with this form and this, we can conclude the Kp equals to R, the tau here equals to the Re. All right, so this is for the process transfer function. All right, so we are done with this. Now for the disturbance transfer function, so here it will be equated. For the process we are using the Q1, right? For the disturbance we'll be using the Q2 because Q2 is the disturbance Q1 is the disturbance in this case, and Q2 will be the input for this case. All right, so we can express that as H over Q2S. Q2 we bring the other side, so this entire thing will go to another side. R over RAS plus 1. So this will be for the sorry, I was wrong just now. This one for the GD term, disturbance term, transfer function, and this is for the G process term. So GD term we have already, we notice both also in the same form. So it doesn't matter. We still can conclude the Kp and Kd equals to R, tau equals to Ra. Okay, both also in same form. Because the process also using the Q1 and the disturbance also will be applied at Q1 to adjust the flow rate. All right. So the second portion of the question asking us to calculate the value of Kp and tau. So we need to know the value of Kp. So if you notice from the relationship between how to say the gain transfer function form, the Kp is basically equals to R, and R is already given in the question as 1 minute per feet square. Okay, R is already given 1.0 minute per meter cube. Now, how to calculate the tau? The tau equals to Ra. R is 1 minute per feet square, and the area in the question is given as 3 feet square. So 3 feet square. Feet can cancel, it will give you 3 minutes. So this is our tau for question number 6B. All right. Part C asking us to derive the closed loop transfer for set point changes, meaning it has to be expressed in terms of H over HSP and shows the steps to obtain. So it also given or provided in the question as K1 equals to KOL over 1 plus KOL. So KOL here is for open loop. So the transfer function that we can get from the diagram, from this block diagram, is for closed loop. If I open this loop, so it will become KOL. So how we going to start? Here tau also expressed ready, and KOL also they express as KC, KIP, KB, KP, KM, meaning the KC, KIP, KV, KP, and KM they combine ready in series, right? So we need to start from the information, the expression given in the question. We need to express that in terms of H over HSP for set point. So the H in this case is KC, the gain, combination or summary of all the gain in the linear line. So K wall. And Kp is provided as tau s plus 1. This is for process. Okay, for process it will be in this form. Kv and Kip, or for valve, inducer, and also for controller, we are remaining with Kc, because if you remember, the general form is K over 1 tau s plus 1, right? So we the expression or the transfer function for all these devices, we assume their transfer function is equals to their respective process gain. Okay, so with that, I express the Kp tau s plus 1, and then I have the transmitter term. Okay, this is for the series function. Now 1 plus the G in this case is all the expression on the numerator. Kip, Kv, K P tau S plus 1 and Km. Right? So this is my current H over set point change expression. Now I can simplify the whole thing by how to say, simplify this portion first. So it will become the top part. I'm going to remain Kc, Kip, Kv, Kp, tau S plus 1, Km. So here it's going to be tau S plus 1, because I'm times with 1 times tau S plus 1. All right, tau S plus 1 plus Kc, Kp, Kip, sorry, Kip, Kv, Kp, tau S plus 1. Tau S plus 1 now become for the entire expression. Tau S plus 1. And then we have another term, Km. So if you notice, I actually can eliminate the tau S plus 1 and going to have Kc, Kip, Kv, Kp, Km. All right. And this is, oops. So this bottom denominator, I'm going to put it as tau S plus 1 plus Kc, Kip, Kv, Kp, Km. If you notice, this is K, tau S we have, and this is 1, okay, plus 1. All right, so I can simplify this entire term by just dividing the whole expression with 1 over 1 plus Kc, Kip, Kv, Kp, and Km. When I divide that, and then I'll be expressing this whole thing as an open loop system. So I can equate this as gain for open loop control system. All right. So from here, I know KOL will be KC, KIP, KV, KP, and KM for a feedback system. And I'm going to also divide the entire term by 1 plus KC, KIP, KV, KP, KM. Correct? So by dividing that, my current expression for H1 over H1SP will be right. KC, KIP, KV, KP, KM. I'm going to divide with the one I mentioned just now, 1 plus KC, KIP, KV, K process, and K transmitter. We divide this ready. And I also going to divide that with the bottom part. Okay. So it's going to be tau divide with KC, KIP, KV, KP, KM. I have S, and then plus the KC, KIP, what is that? KIP, KV, KP, and KM will be divided with KC, KIP, KV, KP, KM. Okay, so if we notice Okay. So if we notice, we have we can equate that as the whole thing, the whole expression, because we already assigned the K open loop, right? So this can be expressed as KOL over 1 plus KOL, open loop, over tau plus K, sorry, tau over KOL plus 1 plus this thing will be cancel out, will leave 1 only. So now if you notice, this is in terms of the standard transfer function for the open loop system. So from here we can tell my KOL, sorry, K1 is actually KOL over 1 plus KOL, and my tau is given. My tau 1 equals to the tau 1 here is the reciprocation. So I'm going to put tau over KOL plus 1. So this will be my tau 1 in this condition. All right. So we already derived the closed loop transfer function for set point change. All right. So this is one thing. Secondly, we want to last for this section, we need to analyze this question. Suppose that the system is initially at the nominal steady state with a liquid level of 2 feet. So H is given. If the set point is suddenly changed from 2 to 3 feet, okay, set point is changed. How long will it take for the system to reach 2.5 feet, meaning in between the 2 and 3, and also for 3 feet. All right. So what we're going to do? All right. So if you notice, we have that H set point change expression HSP in terms of K1 over tau 1s plus 1, right? And we also know we define the K1 as KOL over KOL plus 1, okay? Plus 1. All right. So here the question have given us as, suppose that the system is initially at the steady state with a liquid level. So we need to know how to calculate the KOL first. So the KOL expression we earlier defined as KC, KIP, KV, KP, and KM. So the value for KC is given as 4, 0.2 times 1 from 1.7. The KP here, we got it from the previous section in which we derived KP equals to what and tau equals to what. So this will basically give you 1.36. So I'm going to substitute here in this expression plus 1, and I'll be getting 0.58 for gain of the set point change. Okay. How long will it take? But for us to go to first, they're asking for 2.5, right? So meaning they want us to calculate the tau when the height is 2.5 feet and also 3 feet. Okay, so first we're going to do for 1 plus 1.36. Why? Because the expression for tau from our previous question, we get tau as tau equals to tau over 1 plus KOL. So now our tau, we want to determine the height at 3 minutes. Okay, so the tau here, all right. So the 3 over 1 plus 1.36 will be right 1.27 minutes. Okay, this is for tau. Question is on how long it will take for a set point change to reach two different height, right? So we find the we already find the KOL and tau 1. So with that, the expression for H over HSP will be 0.58, which is our KOL over 1 plus the KOL for set point change. So tau 1 S. Tau 1 here is 1.27. Okay, so with that, my also we know that HSP can be expressed in terms of the final set point is 3, right? And the previous set point is 2. So the difference over the S will be getting 1 over S. So meaning the S will be 0.581 plus 1.27. Now I already shifted this to the other side. So it will be 1 over S. Okay. And this is the Laplace transform form. Or I can also define this in terms of time domain. So for that, I'm going to get that as 1 minus e to the power of negative t 1.27. You have to get yourself familiar with how or what form I will get the expression as when it is transferred from Laplace form to time domain or from time domain to Laplace transformation. So now I have the time domain expression for the height, right? My aim is to calculate the time. So, so here, if the system to reach height of how to say the difference, if initially it is at 2, now want to reach 2.5, so the difference will be 0.5 feet. And a second case is in which initially 2 and later reaching 1, so the difference will be 1 feet, right? So for this case, what I'll do okay, so I'm going to replace that here, h t equals to 0.581 minus e to the power of negative 31.27. Okay, in this case, the ht, for the first case, ht is 0.5. So 0.5 equals to 0.58, 1 minus e negative t over 1.27. Okay, so my t, rearranging the equation, I'll be getting t as 2.52 minutes. This is for 2.5 feet. Okay, now if this is first section. Now, if the new set point is up to 3. All right. So the difference will be 1 feet. Okay. 1 feet. I also can express this as 0.58. 1 minus E negative T 1.27. And now the difference is 1 equals to 0.58. 1 minus E negative T 1.27. So my T in this situation, okay, but if you solve step by step, if you solve this step by step, you will be, this one easily can be calculated in by just keying in the value in the calculator. This one, when you key in the value in the calculator, you'll be getting some error. Why? Meaning you need to double check what is the reason, right? So this is actually ln 1 minus 1 over 0.58. Negative E, because I want to omit the exponential form, so 1.27. Now, if for us, if a larger value, okay, large value over 0, the answer in the correct in the calculator will be error, right? Meaning the T is infinity. T is too high or T approaching infinity, right? So we can just mention the T is too high, too long, or infinity value. All right. This is for 6th question. Consider proportional only control of the level control system. The level transmitter has a span of 10 feet and a 0 of 15 feet. Oops. Give me a second. All right. So, consider proportional only control of the level control system. Again, level control system. The level transmitter has a span of 10 feet and a 0 of 15 feet. Okay. Recall that the standard instrument ranges are 4 to 20 milliampere and 3 to 15 psi. The nominal design conditions are h equals to 20 feet. This is the standard height given. The controller has a gain of 5. Kc is 5, while the gain for the control valve, sorry, they have mentioned control value. It's actually control valve. Kv equals to 0.4. The time constant for the tank is tau 5 minutes. After the set point is changed from 20 to 22 feet, the tank level eventually reaches a new steady state value of 21.92. So here they are saying nominal condition H is 20. Now after all the set point changed from 20 to 22 feet, current new level of the tank is 21.92 feet, almost 22 feet. Okay, so we need to calculate what is the offset. Okay, so how to calculate offset? Offset is equals to, okay, H nu, or the height nu, minus the height old, right? So the height nu is 22 and sorry, the height, not height new, height set point. Height set point minus height that we actually getting from the process. So the set point is set as 22 and the one we are getting is 21.92. So your set point, your offset is 0.08 feet. Very straightforward question. Okay. Probably this type of question will have only 1 mark. Okay. What are the gain QM and QP in figure 2? In this figure, KM and KP. We need to find the value for KM and KP with their unit also. So if you notice here, the KM also given the, where is the range? For the transmitter, the range given is from 24 to 20. Okay, and the level transmitter span is 10 feet meter, 10 feet. So we can calculate the Km by finding the difference between the transmitter range, which is 20 minus 4 milliampere over the feet, 10 feet. So the unit will be 16 over 10 also equals to 1.6 milliampere over feet. All right. Next, we need to calculate the Kp. Kp in this diagram, where is the Kp? Okay. All right. So the Kp in this diagram is in terms of Kp over tau s plus 1. So for us to get the Kp, we need to find what is our Kc, Kip, Kv, and all that. Okay. Kip, we can calculate between the pressure difference difference in the pressure from the range given 3 to 15. So 15 minus 3, and here the nominal design conditions already given as 20 and the transmitter range given as K 20 to 4. So if you notice, the KIP is basically the output over the input. Okay, so PSI over the percentage. All right, percentage or the milliampere value from the transmitter. Right, so KIP can be calculated with the difference between the range given and also the transmitter value. So here it will be in PSI, 12 PSI over 16 milliampere equals to 0.75 PSI over milliampere. This is for IP. We have calculated for IP. Now we need to know what is the control valve. Control valve value is already given, gain given as 0.4 CFM over PSI. Okay, and the KC, is it the KC given here? KC. Okay. For the time constant for the tank is tau equals to 5 minutes. So the Kc in this condition, for all the condition, the Km, Kip, everything, the Gp here actually Gm equals to Km, Gip equals to Kip, Gv equals to Kv, given in the question 0.4, and then for Gc Kc. Kc is actually the tau given, which is 5 minutes. 5 minutes, right? Okay, so if you notice, the current one is the closed loop transfer function, correct? So we can express this H output over the input, okay? Can be expressed as H output over HSP equals to all the series and also the combination of the feedback loop. So Kp tau s plus 1, Kb, Kip, Kc over, times with Km over the 1 plus, but here negative sign, so it will become positive, and all the G I mentioned just now. So it will be Kc, Kip, Kb, Kp over tau s plus 1 and Km, right? So 1 minus will become positive because of the sum point join. So it will be Kc, Ksp, Kv, Kp plus 1 Km. So since set point change, so we consider this as a open loop gain. So from here we can express the open loop gain as Kc, the how to say, the Kc, Kip, Kv, Kp, and the Km. Okay, we don't express in terms of tau s plus 1. We need to rearrange this equation to KOL over tau, KOL over 1 plus KOL. So from that we can get what is our KOL. You rearrange everything in terms of tau s plus 1, and then you know what is KOL. Okay, so now the new form of the set point change transfer function will be in terms of KOL. So it will be tau s plus 1 over the whole thing here, tau s plus 1 plus KOL over tau s plus 1. So we can cancel this term. We'll be having KOL over tau s plus 1 plus KOL. Okay, so rearranging this equation so that we can get in terms of K1 tau 1s plus 1. So rearranging, you'll be getting KOL, divide everything by 1 over KOL. Okay, divide everything by 1 over KOL. So I'll be getting KOL over 1 over KOL. Why I'm dividing? Because I want to get in this form, tau 1s plus 1. So for me to get plus 1, I need to divide with the same term. Okay, so that will give tau s 1 plus KOL plus 1 plus KOL over K1 plus KOL. So this whole thing will become 1. And if you notice, this and this will become, no, will not be cancelled out. Okay, all right. So now I'll be getting in terms of KOL over 1 plus KOL tau s 1 plus KOL, or I can write that tau s plus 1. Okay. So now this is in terms of K1 over tau 1 S plus 1. So from here, I can define what is my K1. K1 equals to KOL over 1 plus KOL. Okay. So my offset can be calculated by yeah. Okay, we need to calculate what is our Km and Kp. Km we know already, so now we need to know offset to calculate the Kp. Okay, so for us to calculate Kp, offset need to be calculated. So with the open loop condition, the offset formula will be KOL. Now here the M is changes. Okay, set point changes, right? So 22 minus 20, 1 plus KOL. So KOL here is 2.4 KP. All right, 2.4 KP. So from here, I know my offset is equals to 0.08. All right. So with the offset, I actually can calculate my KP. KP equals to solving this portion. So I'll be getting 0.08 equals to 2 over 1 plus 2.4 kp. So from here, my kp is equals to 10 feet. Okay. All right. kp is expressed. Okay. How could the controller be modified to obtain zero offset? For us to get zero offset, okay, offset is M over 1 plus KOL, right? So for us to get zero offset, we have to modify the whole control system. How? Now currently they are using just proportional only control. So to get offset, if you remember the orientation of all the control system, if P, PI, or PID, PD, or even ID combination, for us to get zero offset, we need to add integral control system so that we will get zero offset. Okay, so integral combination will be the perfect combination so that we can avoid any offset in the system. So my we can modify the entire block diagram or the process control by adding the integral control system to the system. So it will become proportional control integral system, PI control system, instead of P control only system. All right. So that is the answer to answer for part C. All right. So we are done for today. Right. Attendance 13 people. All right. Just write your name here. I'll take the attendance later because it's not supposedly get the auto generated attendance but not getting in my things. I'm not sure why. So just write your name here so that I know who was here until the session. All right, that is one thing. Second thing, we need to schedule our Monday lecture session. Since coming Monday is a public holiday, when you're proposing to have it, I need a day and time. But I'm not available until Wednesday. I can have the class on Thursday onwards. So having said that, I think Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday tutorial session also we need to reschedule. I'm